Hey folks, it's Andrew here from Home Theatre Engineering. I'm glad to be with you again, and I'm sorry it's taken us so long to get some videos out. We've been incredibly busy. Following on from some of our other videos, I wanted to talk about getting your settings right and in fact getting your room right. And look, this is absolutely critical if you want to get the value out of your system. The other problem is, who do you turn to for advice? That's a really tough one. There's a lot of information on chat groups and things like that, but the fact of the matter is a lot of that information is wrong, no matter how well intended a lot of the people posting that information are. So I want to flip back to something that happened to me about a week ago. I got called out by a store to attend to a person's house. He had a 5.1 system with some very nice equipment in a general living area, so the room was not acoustically ideal. But his comment was, I can't understand anything that comes from this system. You know, it doesn't matter what we watch, it sounds terrible. He'd had the system for 2 years, and they'd had 3 or 4 technicians come out and have a look at this system, and they'd all said it was good to go. The problem was, and the way it was configured, he had some B&W speakers, left and right towers and a centre, and then he had some in-ceiling surrounds, just so that he could have like an enhanced TV watching area. In the equipment was a Class A, not Class A, but Class A, C-L-A-S-S-E, Class A pre-amplifier, sorry, and a Class A power amp. In the pre-amp, or the processor, you can set various configurations, and they'd set it up so that configuration 1 was purely stereo. The system thought it only had 2 speakers. System 2, or configuration 2, was 5.1. Now, why is this important? Because all of the inputs had then been defaulted to stereo, or configuration 1, but were being sent surround. So they've been allocated Dolby surround to go to a system with only 2 speakers. That meant that the signal for the center channel simply didn't go anywhere. That meant that no voice was really getting through unless the voice had been panned to the left and right speakers. The tragic thing is that, you know, 2 years and 3 or 4 technicians later, and the system was still not right, and he had paid a lot of money for this system. And you would think that from the outset it would be properly installed, but it wasn't. We see this every day. You know, you look at the popularity of our Apple TV video and the settings in that, and the number of people have commented, you know, and said, oh my God, thank you so much for those settings. But it's not just your Apple TV, folks. It's, you know, you get the equivalent in your sound. If your sound is not set up right, then your room won't sound good either. And in fact, in this job I'm talking about, even in that job, simple things like distances, levels and crossovers had not been set. Right? The most basic of basic settings had not been set. So I was able to default the system to 5.1. I was able to then show the customer how he can switch from the different modes, so he could go from stereo, you know, to Dolby and various other formats within that configuration. So he could listen to pure stereo if he wanted to, he could listen to pure direct, etc. But he could also enjoy surround sound. Much, much simpler. Button push, even sent him a video with that information. So my point here is that millions of people, literally millions of people, have spent a lot of money on hi-fi and home theatre, and yet are getting very poor results. And this is something that really grinds my gears. They go to a shop that they trust, they sell them the gear gets taken home, and either the owner or a technician goes and sets it up. But what they don't know, and they don't know for years, is that it's not right. And, you know, here's the big thing. When you buy a car, you've got fairly set expectations. You know, if you bought a brand new car off a car lot and you drove it down the road, you would expect that car to perform in a certain way. You'd expect the engine to be nice and smooth, it to be fairly quiet, the seats to be comfortable, the windows should open and shut, the headlights should turn on, and all those things. The indicators should work. We kind of understand what our expectations are there, but with hi-fi and home theatre, if the gear's set up and you have a picture and a sound, then it's hard to know what your expectations are. If the technician walks away and says you're done, how do you know that you've got the best? How do you know your system's performing optimally? It's hard to have that expectation. You know, How do you know if you're getting your money's worth? And that's why we measure everything. So really what I wanted to say is, do some research, make sure that your settings in everything, in your AVR, your processor, your preamp, whatever you have, in your sources, your disc player, in your Apple TV, in your Fetch TV, in your NVIDIA Shield, whatever you've got, make sure that all your settings are correct. And then make sure that you've got the right screen and the right projector. Make sure your speakers are in the right places. Make sure all of that's correct, and then make sure that the room that you're playing it in is as good as it can be. Now, in some living spaces, that's a challenge, of course. But if you're going to build a dedicated room like the one I'm in now, you then have the option to be very smart about how you spend your money. There is absolutely no point spending a fortune. I've seen rooms with $500,000 plus worth of equipment in them that sound absolutely terrible because the room has taken control. The room is boss. If you've got too much ambient light, picture looks bad. If the sound in the room is out of control, the sound is bad. So really you need to attend to your room first. That's the first setting that you need to get right. If that room is a room that you can do that in. If it's not, it's still really important to optimize everything you have. This is where we are really passionate about what we do. I've flown 3,000 kilometers to get to this customer. They're on the other side of Australia. He's been waiting many, many years. This room is his dream, the one I'm sitting in. And he decided 6 months ago to get hold of us. He'd been into multiple stores, he'd been online, and he was confused by the information he had. And tragically, this is a story that we hear literally every day. People go, I don't know, who to trust anymore. I don't know who's got the right information. So we wanted to put it out there, we're not the only people doing this. There are not a lot of us, granted, but across the world there are ISF and HAI and THX specialists who have gone and done the study, who have put the work in. Please get in touch with them. They will cost you money, but they will save you more, right? Because at the end of the day, if we get a lot of people come to us and they've bought equipment, for example, and then we turn up and say, well, that equipment's not compatible. It's brand new. The shop doesn't want it back. You've now got to sell it second hand. You lose a fortune. If you had spoken to, a real professional, a consultant beforehand, you might have spent a bit of money, but you'd have saved a lot as well. And we estimate that on most jobs that by getting the right information, you probably save $4,000 or $5,000. That's kind of what we've seen in terms of people having to sell a projector and an amp, for example, or a projector and a processor because they don't have enough channels, or the projector doesn't have enough light output, or they've got the wrong screen. So just getting the right advice from the outset, is absolutely the best way to go. So really, I just wanted to say, look, folks, you deserve to get the best out of your system. I'm really, it's not often I get angry, but I'm really sick and tired of going out to people's homes and finding out that they've saved for a long time, they've put their hard-earned money into a job, and then only to find that they discover that things are not right, and I should not be able to go into a job and in 10 minutes or 30 minutes be able to massively improve that system. I mean, I'd put the challenge out there, to all the other shops and suppliers, get it right. Put me out of business, make it so that when I go to a job, there is nothing wrong. That would kind of make my day, to be honest. Let's get this right for people. We're technologically aware, we've got the information out there. The problem is there's a plethora of information, there's too much of it in chat groups and forums and so on and so forth. And the problem is sorting out the good information from the bad. So, you really need to dig up someone who's qualified and who knows what they're doing. So, I just wanted to put that out there and say, look, start at your Apple TV, go and have a look at our Apple TV video, have a look at our subwoofer video. We're going to do another one on sub placement shortly, and you know, we're going to try and put as much information out there as we can, so that you don't need to call us. But if you do want to, and you want to get the room built from scratch and properly designed, then we're here for you, and we'd love to work with you. And you know, this job here, you should see the guy's face. You know, he's just out doing some work at the moment, but I've never seen someone happier. You know, this room is his dream child, and seeing it come together, and to see a picture on the screen and a sound quality in this room that has massively exceeded his expectations, you know, really lifts my heart. So there you go, folks. Just, you deserve to get your money's worth, and that's what this is all about. Okay, so thanks for listening. Please subscribe to our channel, and you know, ring the bell so you get your notifications, and we'll try and produce more videos. We've had a lot going on in the last few months. We've been extremely busy, and we've just acquired another 2-channel business, so that we can try and serve the 2-channel stereo market even better, and apply our techniques there as well. So that's sort of kept us under the pump, and you know, we look forward to being in close contact with you in the next year, and delivering great sound, great picture, and great fun and entertainment into your homes. Thank you very much.